Alright, comrades, today I'm super excited to talk about the new DLC for Paradox's Hearts of Iron 4, the new expansion, No Step Back. Now, I'm a certified Hearts of Iron 4 addict. Yeah. Lots of hours played into this game. Lots of hours.
I'm here today because I'm addicted to
Hearts of Iron 4. And in my humble opinion, it's the best deep strategy World War II game of all time, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Now, I simply can't help myself. I must show how much of a loser I am by showing you my playtime in this game. It's kind of embarrassing. No, that's not AFK time either. That shit's real. That's how many hours I actually played in this game. Anyway, for those that don't know what Hearts of Iron 4 is, or what Hearts of Iron is, it's a deep strategy game that focuses on the events that lead up to World War II and the war itself. Now, if you haven't played it before, I highly recommend it, but be warned that this game has a steep learning curve. It's not even a curve, it's a vertical line. It is a difficult game to get a hold of at first, but once you get it, it's awesome. It's kick-ass, it's addicting, and the payoff is there, but it may cause depression. Like, it's no joke, it took me a few days when I started playing this game just to start winning battles, just to figure out what the hell I was doing at all. So I'll do my best in this review to cover everything and hopefully guide you in the right decision on whether or not to purchase this DLC. So with that being said, let's get this party started, comrades. Alright, so first off, we have an entirely newly structured and a reimagined Polish focus tree. Poland had a generic focus tree before, but now it's much more expansive, way more options for communism and fascism, and a bunch of unaligned branches. All kinds of neat ways to play as Poland now, and I'm super happy about this because Poland is one of the most fun nations to play as, in my opinion. Not only did they add a bunch more paths, but they actually restructured things like the industry paths. So as you can see, the tree is expansive. There's plenty of paths for you to play. There's tons of stuff to do here. Let's move on to the Soviet tree. Alright, next up is the Soviets. The Soviet tree is absolutely massive. Now, the Soviet tree has not been touched since the game's release, so this is a massive change. You now have a paranoia meter that you constantly have to keep an eye on, which is a new addition to the Soviet playthrough. If it gets too high, Stalin will start purging officers and killing them, and you could potentially even lose advisors as well. So it adds an entirely new dynamic to the game as the Soviets. Once Trotsky's gone, it seems to be business as usual for the Soviets, however, but the focus tree gives you tons of new options to choose from. Super fun to play as the Soviets now. I typically preferred smaller nations before this, but this new dynamic is really fun to use. There are also new focus trees for the minor Baltic nations as well. I'll just cover these briefly here and I'll show you the paths available. The Estonia focus tree, for example, here is massive and is so much improved from before, as it had just a generic focus tree. Basically, all the Eastern Bloc countries have new and specialized focus trees, and I'm loving all of them. Playing as Estonia has never been this fun. There's also new focus trees and paths available for Latvia and Lithuania as well. Now, another massive, fundamental change is the Officer Corps. This is a huge change, as you no longer have to research your doctrines, but you use experience instead to unlock them. You now use focus trees and spirit as a strategy to lower the cost of the doctrines. This is tricky right now because experience, as we know, is few and far between before war starts, so choosing advisors and training is now even more important to get those doctrines. One thing that concerns me is minor nations having difficulty getting enough experience to get their doctrines. Hopefully they end up balancing everything really well, because balancing issues can always be adjusted in a patch. There are also new bonuses called Spirit of Command for each branch of your military, which adds yet another strategic value to your overall game plan. And from these you have subgroups starting with Spirit of Academy, Spirit of the Army, and Spirit of Division respectively. You have these choices available for all three branches of the military. I also like the fact that all of the stats of each branch are neatly located here for reference. You can also appoint your chiefs of each branch here as well. There's tons of options and tactics for you to choose from here, so dive in and experiment and find one that suits your playstyle. The other addition is the Scorched Earth tactic. You can blow your own stuff up before impending doom looms on the horizon. The Soviets double-crossing you and starting to invade? Well, blow all your stuff up before being thrown into exile, providing no benefit to your oppressors. Another fundamental change to the game is the train and railway system. Yes, we now have supply trains, and you can armor them and put railguns on them. It's pretty awesome. You can even see them moving on the map. Now, instead of just infrastructure, you have to build trains under the infantry tab, and also build railways and supply hubs. How this works is, you build a supply hub and you extend the railways out to where you need them. The trains provide long-distance supplies from the capital. You also have to build the trains. Trains and trucks can be found under the infantry tab under the production queue. You have multiple choices here: civilian trains, armored, freight class trains, and a railgun train that can actually provide artillery fire to enemy troops. I'm having a blast with the rail system, and I'm still getting used to everything, but I like what they've done here. To get supplies to each supply hub, you use trucks to expedite supplies versus using cavalry supply runs. The only downfall to using trucks is that they use a lot more resources, and you have to research the trucks, and you also have to build them separately. So you have to provide the trains, the trucks, and all the materials for them. So it's quite a logistical endeavor. But I like the intricacies of everything, and I like the minutia of it. So build trains, trucks, and supply hubs to get your troops their beans, bullets, and band-aids. Similar to the Man the Guns DLC, you have a tank designer just like you have a ship designer, and it's pretty much built the same way. The tanks, you research the armor, the engines, and you can put radios, special modules, and change the main armament. You can change all kinds of things in the tank sub-menus just like you could in any of the battleship or the submarine or any of the naval unit menus. Overall, the DLC to me is incredible, and it offers a ton of new ways to play the game. The supply system changes everything from the foundation, and the tank designer offers massive shifts in strategy, and the new focus trees should provide you with hundreds of hours of gameplay given the time sink this game could be. So, for me, this game's 2 thumbs way up. It's a home run for me. It provides all the nitty-gritty details and all the things that I wanted to see in the game, and I'm having a blast with it, so I highly recommend it. Technically, I had no issues whatsoever. It ran perfectly fine for me. And it's only $19.99 on Steam, and I think it's worth every penny because it's a game changer. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for sticking with me on this one, and I hope to see you in the next one. And happy Thanksgiving. Take care of yourselves and each other.